Hey, and welcome to Trail Trials, the video review section of iRunFar.com. My name is Travis Liles, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the Mountain Masochist II by Montrail. In Montrail's current line of shoes, the Masochist is the longest standing member. Since 2009, it's seen very few changes other than some updates to the colors. In 2012, Montrail brought the Mountain Masochist II into the fold. Being someone that's worn the Mountain Masochist from training to 50Ks to 50-milers, stage races, and hundreds, this is a shoe that's near and dear to my heart. So let's take a look at just how much has changed in the Mountain Masochist II. So let's start off by looking at the bottom of the Masochist. So what we can see on the bottom are lots of different types of lug shapes and directions, but we'll start off here at the toe. So the toe has these blades, both going opposing directions, and these do a really great job of climbing. They do a good job in mud, on rocks, on slick surfaces. I've really found the Masochist to be a good all-around bottom package. Some of the things that I think add to that, one are this blade design that you see, these large blades that do a nice job of traction. And then also you have these cutouts in here, which I believe are there for weight saving purposes. And debris and things like that can also sort of bunch up in there and I think give a much better hold. They do clear out relatively well though, so you're not carrying a bunch of gunk around with you if you do happen to be in a muddy area. When we move to the middle here, we can see an exposed rock plate. This is a semi-flexible plastic plate here, so it's not something that's completely rigid. The shoe does have flex to it, even though it does provide a good amount of stability. And then when we move to the back of the heel, we start to see those reverse lugs so that you can brake when going downhill, and those go from larger all the way to smaller. So overall, low profile, flexible, and sticky, semi-sticky, using the Montrail Griptonite compound. So a very good bottom package that's on this. It's going to have a good amount of grip without going overboard. You're going to have a good amount of protection while still remaining flexible. When we move up to the midsole, we have this orange foam that runs all the way around here. And as you can see, it's not overly tall, so you do get a good amount of protection without being really high off of the ground. You can see that especially here where we have the cutouts for the rock plate. And you can see that's not that high off the ground, and your foot actually will sit down inside of there a little bit too. And when we move to the heel, this line on the back is roughly where your heel is going to sit. So you sit down inside of it, sort of like a perimeter around your foot. When we move here to the inside of the shoe, or the medial part, what we're going to notice is the fluid post. And this is what's new on the Masochist II. So this fluid post, as we covered in our Bad Rock review, is a varying density post. And this post is poured in a way so that it's not an abrupt post that's just soft foam and then hard foam. It works its way in and eases into it. And you can see that with this sort of gray and black poured looking areas. And to give you a bit of comparison, we'll throw that in with the original Masochist, which is seen here. Here's the post that was a part of that, so it already existed. And then here we move it into the Masochist II. It looks to be extending out and a little bigger, but I assume that has to do with just how that formula of the midsole is used. So overall, a nice midsole, good amount of cushioning without going too much and being too squishy. Nice and responsive while remaining flexible and giving you some protection. We have a good toe bumper here as we start moving our way up towards the upper. Relatively hard, so that's good. It's going to keep you from kicking things. And then toe protection in general is done by adding this extra layer of fabric here that's kind of a leather-like feel. So you've got a good amount of protection here on the toe. As we move around, we can start to see these bands that come up around the shoe. These do a really excellent job of hugging your foot and keeping it stable. You can tie these things down tight, you can keep them loose, but you have a nice wrap all the way around, and that's done by these straps that are on here. We move to the collar. We have a nice padded heel collar here. There is structure to this, so there's a piece of plastic or something in here that adds to a nice heel cup. Overall, what you get though is a narrow heel and a wide forefoot. So if you're someone like myself that has that shape of a foot like this is a good shoe. It's gonna hug your heel really well and open up, and I've even found it to do well. Even when I keep it loose, this shoe seems to fit my foot really well. So if my feet are swollen or have an injury or something along those lines, these give my foot enough room to breathe while remaining stable. And then as we move up to the tongue, this has a very padded tongue, and probably one of the, I guess, pluses and minuses here. This thing gets full of water and it does hold it a little bit more than I'd like it to, but you also have a good amount of padding, so you don't have to worry about bruising the top of your foot if you're cinching down your laces. And then lastly, that tongue is gusseted roughly from just above this Montrail sign all the way down. The upper in general is made of this mesh with fabric underneath that, and then this suede-like feel here in the front for reinforcement. So overall, you're looking at about 10.8 ounces and a 20 to 10 heel-to-toe drop. So pretty average on your trail shoe side of things. But I've noticed this Masochist to be just a hair lighter than the previous version of the Masochist 1. So of the things you gain, you get the fluid post as well as a little lighter package overall. In closing, the Mountain Masochist 2 is just the right amount of everything without being too much or too little of anything. You've got good protection, cushioning, stability, but without going overboard on any of those items. Those that are used to wearing the Mountain Masochist, the fluid post is not a big enough difference to sway you from continuing to wear this shoe. And for those that have never worn it before, it's not enough of a stability post that's really going to affect your feet and push that foot to the outside when you're out on the rocky terrain. So, as always, questions or comments, place them below the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.